After my car broke down, I walked 3 miles in the rain to get home. I opened the door, soaked and freezing, and heard laughter upstairs. I thought she was on the phone. Until I heard his voice. When I called her name, everything went silent. I climbed the stairs slowly. She stepped into the hall in my shirt. He was hiding behind the door. She looked at me and said, "This wasn't supposed to happen like this." I said, "It didn't. You thought I'd beg. I'm just here to say goodbye." I live in Hilliard, Ohio. Quiet place. Close enough to the city but still feels small. I've lived here for 5 years. I moved for love. Her name's Alyssa, but I always called her Liz. She used to laugh when I said it. Back then, her laugh made the worst days feel worth it. We've been married 3 years. We weren't perfect, but we were good, or I thought we were. We had a plan. No kids yet. Just 2 people building something. We worked on the house together, fixed up the kitchen, painted the rooms, picked out furniture one piece at a time. Real slow life. But it felt like ours. I work HVAC. It's not glamorous. Long hours, busted hands, crap pay, but it keeps the lights on. That Monday, I was finishing a job down in Circleville. Supposed to be home by 6, but the day ran long. I was driving my work truck, old, loud, beat to hell. On my way back, the engine gave out. Just died on a back road. No signal, no cars, nothing. So I walked. It was already raining when I started. Cold spring rain. Wind made it worse. My boots filled with water, and my jacket was useless after a mile. I kept walking. 3 miles in soaked clothes, freezing. All I could think was how good it'd feel to be home. Dry clothes. Hot shower. Maybe Liz waiting on the couch with a movie on. I was wrong. When I got to the house, I saw the lights were on upstairs. That wasn't strange. She liked to keep the bedroom light on when it rained. I opened the front door and stepped inside. The heat hit me right away. Then the smell, vanilla candles, the kind she always buys from Kroger. And then I heard it. Laughter. Not just hers, there was another voice. A man's voice. I froze. I thought maybe she was on the phone. She talks to her sister late sometimes. But this didn't sound like that. It sounded close. Like he was there. Then I heard it again, his voice. Not on the phone. In our bedroom. I said her name. Liz? Silence. Everything stopped. No more talking. No laughing. Not even footsteps. I stood there for a second, soaking wet, cold water dripping from my sleeves onto the floor. The only sound was the ticking clock in the hallway. I walked up the stairs. 1 step at a time. Each one creaked louder than the last. My hands were shaking, not from the cold anymore. At the top I saw her. She stepped out into the hall wearing one of my shirts. My old work shirt with the faded name patch. She used to wear it when she missed me. Said it made her feel close to me. Now she was wearing it for someone else. Her hair was a mess. Her face pale. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. I looked at her. Then past her. The bedroom door was cracked open. I saw movement. A leg. Then it disappeared behind the door. Someone was hiding. I didn't yell. I didn't go charging in. I just stood there. She looked at me and whispered, "This wasn't supposed to happen like this." I said, "It didn't. You thought I'd beg. I'm just here to say goodbye." Then I turned around and walked back down the stairs. She didn't follow. He never came out. I walked back out into the rain. 3 more miles. But that night didn't break me. It lit a fire. You don't just cheat on someone and expect it to end like that. You don't get to look me in the eye wearing my shirt and pretend it's some sad accident. She made her choice. Now it was my turn. This isn't about getting even. This is about showing her what it feels like to lose everything you thought was safe. The next morning, I called in sick. I told my boss the truck broke down and I'd deal with it later. He didn't care. He only said, "Whatever, just don't bill me for the tow." I sat in a booth at a Waffle House just outside of town. I ordered black coffee and didn't touch it. I just sat there, watching the rain smear down the windows, watching people come and go. My phone buzzed nonstop. 10 missed calls. All her. A few texts too. "Please talk to me. It's not what you think. He doesn't matter." It was a mistake. A mistake? He was in our bed, hiding behind our door. That's not a mistake. That's a plan. I didn't respond. I wasn't ready to talk. But I was ready to move. I went home after noon. The house was dark. Her car was gone. Good. I packed a bag. Nothing big, just enough clothes to get by. I grabbed my documents, my tools, the cash I kept hidden behind the drywall in the basement. She never knew about that. Then I did something she'd never expect. I waited. I didn't leave town. I moved into a tiny room above my buddy Dean's garage. He owed me, years ago. I helped him hide his divorce from his boss while he sorted it out. Dean gave me a key, no questions asked. I made a list. Not just of things to do, but of things to remember. Times she lied. Signs I ignored. Calls that went too long. Sudden changes in her schedule. Nights she said she was with Rachel. Yeah, Rachel, who moved to Texas 2 years ago. I started going through our finances. Alyssa always said she was bad with numbers, so I handled most of the bills. But I let her handle the checking account. That was my first real punch in the gut. Turns out she'd been withdrawing cash for months. Always just under $300. Enough to fly under the radar. Most of it on weekends. When I was working overtime, I called the bank. Asked for copies of the statements going back 6 months. The woman on the phone didn't ask questions. She just mailed them. The next day, I opened that envelope and everything came into focus. Hotel stays. Meals at restaurants I'd never been to. Lyft rides that ended miles from her work. One charge was at a spa near Dayton, my old town. She had a whole second life. I wasn't angry anymore. I was surgical. Cold. I wanted her to feel what I felt. Not just pain. Not just betrayal. I wanted her to feel small. She texted again that night. "Please just come home. We need to talk. I miss you." I replied for the first time. "Don't worry. We will." I waited 3 more days. Then I walked back into that house like I owned it. Because I did. She was on the couch. Eyes red. Hair messy. No makeup. "Where have you been?" she asked, standing up like she might hug me. I held up my hand. "You don't get to touch me." She sat down, quiet. I could feel her shaking. I don't know what to say," she whispered. "Then don't." I walked to the kitchen. Opened the drawer where we kept all the spare keys and extra cards. I took mine and tossed the rest on the table. "I need you out by Sunday." "What?" "I'm filing. I've got copies of everything. The hotel receipts. The cash withdrawals. The messages from that piece of trash you brought into my house." "You looked through my stuff?" she said, suddenly angry. "No," I said. "I looked through our stuff. But you turned it into yours the minute you let someone else in that bed." She started crying. I walked out. I had one more thing to do. I didn't just want a clean break. I wanted truth. All of it. And not just for me. I went back to Dean's and pulled out an old phone I kept from years ago. Burner style. Nothing special. But it still worked, and more importantly, it still had a working number I used for side jobs. I made a new email, created a new social media account with no profile picture, and started digging. First, I searched for the guy. The one who was hiding in my bedroom. I didn't get a good look at him that night, but I had a name now. Found it in our bank statements. Stephen Calloway. There was a hotel charge under his name. She must have paid for the room and added him as a guest. Stupid mistake. These people always get lazy when they're comfortable. Stephen had a LinkedIn. Mid-30s. Worked at a car dealership in Dublin, just a few miles away. Married. That's when the air in my lungs turned cold again. I found his wife. Madison Calloway. Kindergarten teacher. 3 kids. They looked like one of those perfect holiday card families. I didn't rush. I made a folder. Screenshots. Dates. Receipts. Messages. I made sure every word lined up, every charge matched. I printed it all and put it in a manila envelope. The next Saturday morning, I drove to her house. I sat across the street in my truck, engine running. I watched a little girl ride her bike in the driveway while Madison picked up groceries from her trunk. I waited until the girl went inside. Then I got out. "Mrs. Calloway?" I asked as I walked up. She froze, holding a bag of eggs and cereal. "I think you should see something." She looked at me like I was crazy, but when I handed her the envelope, she didn't say anything. Just nodded and took it inside. I didn't wait. By Sunday night, Stephen was gone from Alyssa's life. I knew because she called me. Screaming. "You told his wife? What the hell is wrong with you?" I waited until she finished. Then I said, "This wasn't supposed to happen like this." Then I hung up. But it wasn't over. Not yet. The next week, I met with a lawyer. Good one. Recommended by a guy on a job site who went through a nasty divorce. The lawyer looked at the bank statements and said, "You've got leverage. Use it." Turns out, Ohio is a marital property state, but if you can prove your spouse used shared assets to fund an affair, you can claim dissipation of assets. It meant I could hit her where it really hurt. Money. And that's when she made a move I didn't expect. She showed up at Dean's garage one night, banging on the door. "I need to talk to you," she said. Dean opened the door and walked away without a word. He didn't want to get in the middle. I stepped outside. She looked rough. Bags under her eyes. Hair tied back in a loose knot. She'd lost weight. Her voice cracked when she spoke. "I'm pregnant." I didn't blink. "Congratulations," I said. She stared at me. "You think it's his?" I didn't answer. She took a step forward. "It's yours, okay? I haven't seen Stephen since that night. You have to believe me. Doesn't change a thing. You're seriously going to leave me like this?" I laughed. "You left me the second you let someone else climb into our bed." She started crying again. Her hand was on her stomach. She was trying to look fragile. Soft. Like the old Liz I used to love. But she was gone. And I wasn't done yet. I had one more play left. One more truth to dig up. I remembered something from the night I found them. Something strange. When I called her name, they both went quiet. Too quiet. Like they were expecting something, or someone else. That's when it hit me. Maybe Stephen wasn't the only one. Maybe he wasn't even the first. I had to find out. The more I thought about that night, the more it felt off. Like there was more under the surface. I started going back through everything. The bank records. The text messages I'd pulled from our cloud account. She never changed her Apple ID when we got married, and I knew the password. She'd gotten lazy. And then I found it. A second number. Not Stephen's. Different one. Messages going back over a year. I checked the area code. Dayton. My hometown. I called the number from the burner. Blocked. A man picked up. "Hello?" I didn't speak. I just listened. He said, "Liz? You there?" My stomach dropped. I hung up. So it wasn't just Stephen. There was another one. Probably before him. She didn't just make a mistake. She built a pattern. I spent the next few days in a daze. Couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. All I could think was, how many times did I sit across from her, eat dinner with her, fall asleep next to her, and not know? How long was I the fool? I went to the lawyer. Told him everything. He filed the paperwork the same day. Divorce. Asset dissipation. Spousal dishonesty. We had the receipts. She didn't contest it, because she couldn't. She had no defense. I got the house. Sold it. Split the profit, sure. But I made her move out with nothing but a suitcase. No furniture. No equity. No comfort. She begged. Said she was scared. Said she needed help. That she was still pregnant. I told her she could have the couch she cheated on me with. Nothing else. She moved back with her mother in Toledo. 3 months passed. Then came the test results. Paternity, negative. The baby wasn't mine. I stared at that paper for an hour. Laughing. Then crying. Then laughing again. Not because I wanted the kid, but because she used it like a weapon. And it backfired. Turns out Stephen was the father. He denied it. Took his own test. Same result. She doesn't know who the father is. I heard through Dean that she's trying to raise the baby alone now. She works part-time at a diner. Her mom watches the kid. She looks tired in every photo. Washed out. Not the confident, sharp-tongued woman I used to know. Meanwhile, I got promoted. My boss made me site manager. I moved into a better place in Grove City. Started dating again. Slow, cautious, but honest. And I don't lie to myself anymore. Yeah, I made mistakes. I missed the signs. I let myself believe love was enough. That a good heart could keep someone loyal. But now I know better. Some people don't need a reason to betray you. They just need an opportunity. And when it all comes crashing down, they always say the same thing. This wasn't supposed to happen like this. No. It wasn't. It was supposed to be worse. And now it is. For her. For him. And not for me. Not anymore.